Good afternoon, families. It is Thursday, January 26th, 2023, and I am coming to you with our Turtle Talk vlog for the week. So, there's been lots going on. We had a fantastic snow yesterday afternoon, and I just wanted to start with it was beautiful and gorgeous, and if you haven't had a chance, there are all sorts of cool, amazing snow things that have been built on the little playground, which is great because we are playing on the little playground. Wonderful. I hope you're all doing well and healthy, and let's get into our top two for this week. So, the 100th day and Valentine's Day are coming up soon, and excitement, they're on the same day, Tuesday, February 14th, 2023. Now, unless there's a snow day between here and there, they will be on the same day. So we'll celebrate our 100th day of school and Valentine's Day on the same day. Now, we'll just start with, in honor of the 100th day of school, we have a 100th day home project, and that looks like this. So check your Thursday folders. I'm also going to include it on this email. We've got a home project where you and your student are going to be creating a collection of 100 things. What I'd like you to do is see if they can figure something out that they can find 100 of. Think something small, not large, and my only big rule other than that is not breakable. We're going to bring them in by the, what is it? It says here the 10th, which is February 10th, a Friday. So we got a couple of weeks. Creating a group of 100 things that you have counted and recounted, probably into sets and groups of 10. So there's some tips and tricks and tidbits on here. So go ahead, that's in your Thursday folder that came home today. So there's number one. And number two, our field trip yesterday to First Stage was wonderful. And I just want to give you a quick, fun little favorite moment that many of us shared while we were on the bus on the way back. There was a cool part of the show where there were lots of wishes that were happening and imagination. And there was even a set where there were just thousands of bubbles that came out. It was very, very cool. So if you haven't had someone tell you all about it, ask them about the wishes, ask them about the bubbles, and see what they say. Now let's get on to the vlog points for the week. So, obviously, as I said, snow is back. So please keep practicing independent dressing with all your snow gear. So that's snow pants, boots, coat, hat, gloves. Those things getting put on in the correct order and independently is a huge help because it takes a lot and we want to get outside and play. And it's much better when you're not cold and wet because you have the right gear on. So think about that. Number two, next week will be the beginning of February, with Groundhogs Day on the 2nd, and it will also be the start of Black History Month. So we're going to be taking a look, number one, next week at weather predictions, whether we're going to have 6 more weeks of winter or an early spring. And during the month of February, we're going to be highlighting Black and Indigenous people of color, as well as all of the different authors and illustrators and books that I have in my collection and people I know. And you might notice I got a ton behind me, and even right over there. And I'll just pull this one right out here. There's a book called Hair Story. It's by Shantae Smith-Sainer, who just happens to be a very good and lifelong friend of mine. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that maybe we might be able to get this author to come on in and read this book that she wrote about her and her son, Micah, and kind of how he has a story about his hair, which is a fantastic book. That's why I got it. So she's a local author, and it's kind of cool. So I'm fingers crossed I can get her to come into the class and not only read the book to us, but we can talk about it and ask a real author and illustrator all about what it takes to really write a book. Super cool. Moving into reading, as I was talking about, we're almost done with our working and reading through The Mitten. So this is a copy of some of our reading group books that we've been reading since small group. Here is a copy of The Mitten by Jan Brett. There's a link in the email as well. So if you're not familiar with this, we're practicing reading it and rereading it and retelling a story using all sorts of cool, interesting things. We've got this coloring page while they're reading with me. They're working on coloring these animals in to match the story. We're going to make little animal puppets out of them. Then we got a bear, and we've got a mole, and we have a few turned around. There's a fox and a mouse, and we're going to be retelling a story using these and a mitten that we're going to be cutting out and then lacing with yarn, because the story is how these animals crawl into impossibly a small mitten and all fit inside. Super kind of fun. After that, we are moving to looking at our phonics. So today I grabbed one of the students' workbooks just to kind of show you what I'm talking about. So in phonics, we're reviewing this week we're reviewing letters. So we were working on letters like C and F, O, L, R, J, and W, and we've been practicing not only writing them neatly, this is some very neat looking work over here, but also then I would say a sentence out loud, or a phrase, which is a part of a sentence, was on a log, and students use what we've been practicing to use their knowledge of high frequency words and then sound out the words in the rest of the sentence or phrase. It's fantastic. This one's from Sage. She did a very, very good job. I thought that'd be kind of fun to show a student workbook instead of mine or just talking about it. We've been really talking as well about perseverance, and somehow that sometimes our phonics is pretty hard. But when we use our perseverance, even when work becomes challenging, we don't give up because we're tough, and we're doing hard work because we're tough. It's kind of fun. In math, we just celebrated today the end of our investigation of weight and comparison with heavier, lighter, and the same by playing Math Bakery. And it was pretty awesome. So we had a delicious menu of items using clay. Not clay, actually. We were using dough. We were pretending from clay. And today we finished with not only making some delicious items and then comparing them like a baker would using a scale to make sure that all the ingredients and the pieces are equal. What you see here is some dough that was made into some croissants from France. We also made some pan dulce from Latin America and pretzels from Germany. And at the end, we even had a pilot stop by, Pilot Quinn. You might sometimes recognize him in our line. Pilot Quinn stopped by, he flew his plane, and he ordered 10 croissants, which you can see here are some 10 very delicious student croissants. Very detailed, by the way, and they do smell good. So that's pretty exciting and awesome. We're going to be moving into, after our comparison with weight, into comparing with numbers using and within sets of 10. And we're going to be using this thing right here called a 5-group frame. So it's how we can organize things like our hand. 5 fingers, there's 5 boxes, 5, and 5 more. 5 and 5 is 10. This is called a 10 frame in 5 group because there are groups or a single row of 5 things. And it's a way of quickly organizing numbers using stuff, Lincoln cubes, pieces of clay, pieces of paper, dots using dry erase. And it's a way of quickly understanding how numbers are part and part. You can have 5 and 1 more, and that's 6. So pretty exciting there. To round it up, this is a super big vlog, by the way. We finished reading our Magic Treehouse number 2, The Night at Dawn. Very good book. Students really loved it, and they were super interested in continuing reading in the Magic Treehouse series, but nay. We moved into a different chapter book. This is like a 3rd grade chapter book that I'm reading aloud. Some of you might remember it or recognize it. It is Beverly Cleary, The Mouse and the Motorcycle. So we worked through chapter 1 today, and it starts like this. Chapter 1, there's a boy named Keith, and his family, they're on vacation, and they end up staying at a motel that's really far away from the highway because they're on a vacation on the 4th of July weekend. All the fancy hotels close by the highway are all booked up, so they had to drive really far and checked into rooms 215 and 216 of the Mountain View Inn. Now, it's a super old and dilapidated place, and the mom doesn't think it smells good, and it might have mice. But the boy, Keith, is pretty excited that it is interesting and might have mice in it. He thinks that might be fun. So we just finished chapter 1, where Keith noticed there was a small hole in the baseboard in his room, and he wondered what was in there, but he didn't see anything. His mom is convinced it's mice, but they had to go down for dinner. So that's where we paused. So hopefully you will stay tuned and ask questions of your student for what's happening next in The Mouse and the Motorcycle. I hope you are healthy and well. I hope you, from the adult perspective, have done good snow removal, but also are seeing the beauty of how gorgeous it is outside with that beautiful snow. And get outside, get some fresh air. And otherwise, I will see you on the next vlog. Have a fantastic weekend if I don't see you. Bye.